My girlfriend clearly knew that the poison in her body could only be cured by the spider herb. Yet for my sake, she was willing to give the life-saving medicine to that scheming girl. She only begged me to stay by his side through his final days. After being reborn, when faced with the same choice again, I took the life-saving medicine without hesitation. Yan Mengyao looked sadly at the surveillance footage on her phone, feeling an emptiness in her heart. She knew it was just a dream, but she never expected the dream to be so short. So after going in such a big circle, that man still came for the herb. But Lu Yan had said it was for her. Yet now he still secretly came to take it himself. Was she really that unworthy of trust? Even though she already knew he would do this. Why did her chest still hurt so much? The moment I took out the herb, Yan Mengyao immediately turned off the surveillance feed. She hugged her knees, curling herself up and covering her eyes. Beside her, the assistant Zhang Ting asked softly, "Miss, should I bring him back?" Yan Mengyao said hoarsely, "No, let everyone completely let him go." Zhang Ting sighed and could only obey. After getting the herb, I headed straight for the kitchen. Still unaware of what had happened upstairs, only feeling that the first-floor hall was strangely quiet, an hour had already passed after the medicine was prepared. As I carried the medicine upstairs, I happened to run into Zhang Ting coming downstairs. When she saw me, Zhang Ting froze slightly. "Why haven't you left yet?" I frowned in confusion. "Left for where? Wasn't I staying here tonight?" Zhang Ting's brows twitched. Her gaze fell onto the bowl in my hands, and she couldn't help asking, "What is this?" I looked at the person standing right in front of me. "It's medicine I made for your young lady. If it cools down on the way, the effect won't be as good." Zhang Ting looked at me seriously. "For my young lady? Is my young lady sick?" My footsteps halted. So Yan Mengyao being poisoned was something even her trusted aide didn't know about. Thinking of this, I looked at Zhang Ting with some sympathy. "It has nothing to do with you. Go back and sleep." Zhang Ting felt like she had suffered 10,000 points of damage inside. How could her young lady's matters have nothing to do with her? I didn't continue bothering with this woman and walked straight to Yan Mengyao's door, raising my hand to knock. At that moment, Yan Mengyao was hugging her knees, curled up in the corner, letting herself be swallowed by the darkness. Hearing the knock on the door, she said irritably through the intercom, "Nobody is allowed to disturb me." Hearing the voice coming from Zhang Ting's communicator, I couldn't help being stunned. What happened to her? Zhang Ting opened her mouth, not knowing how to explain. Was she supposed to say that her young lady thought I took the medicine and ran away? So she locked herself up all alone. She couldn't explain it clearly, so she simply left it for us to solve ourselves. Thinking this, she knocked hard on the door. Mr. Lu is here." In less than 3 seconds, the door opened with a click. Yan Mengyao stared blankly at me outside the door. "Why are you?" Her gaze landed on what I was holding. "What is this?" I looked at her helplessly. "Let me come in first. If we keep standing here, it really will get cold." Yan Mengyao stepped aside to let me in. As I walked toward the table beside the bed, I explained, "I originally wanted to tell you first, but when I knocked, you didn't respond. I thought you were asleep. So I took the initiative and brewed the spider herb first." After speaking, I picked up the bowl of medicine and walked over to her. "Come, drink this." Yan Mengyao didn't take it and continued staring at me stubbornly. For me, I looked puzzled. Who else would it be for? Yan Mengyao felt as if she had just ridden a roller coaster. The heart that had fallen to rock bottom gradually began to warm again. But immediately afterward, she realized a problem. "How did you know I needed this medicine?" Since Lu Yan could brew medicine for her, he must already know about her poisoning. But she hadn't even told Zhang Ting. So, how did he find out? I lied without changing my expression. "Don't you know I'm skilled in Chinese medicine? When I held your wrist today, I already figured it out. Quick, drink the medicine. If it gets cold, the effect won't be good." Yet Yan Mengyao still didn't take it. Thinking about my unusual behavior tonight, she felt like she had grasped the truth. "Was it because of this that your attitude toward me suddenly changed?" The truth she vaguely inferred instantly dragged her warming mood back down to the bottom again. So he only became nice because the medicine would be used on her. I looked completely confused. "What are you talking about?" Yan Mengyao said dejectedly. "Once I drink this bowl of medicine and the poison is cured, you'll no longer feel guilty and can completely cut ties with me, right?" My face was full of question marks. I never expected that a casual lie from me would make her overthink this much. For a moment, I felt both annoyed and amused. If I wanted to cut ties with you, I could have just handed you the medicine. Why would I promise to stay with you? Yan Mengyao, do you not trust me? Or are you lacking confidence in yourself? Yan Mengyao let out a bitter laugh. Muyan, you're the only person in this world who makes me feel insecure. She had always been Heaven's favored daughter. Yet she had stumbled badly because of me. She had even become jealous of a woman who was inferior to her in almost every aspect, simply because that person had almost monopolized all of my attention. This time, I fell silent for a long while, then stopped explaining further and casually handed the medicine back to her. Anyway, the medicine is already prepared. The prescription for Su Linian's mother isn't this one. If you don't drink it, it'll really go to waste. This time, Yan Mengyao didn't refuse again, but her heart was still shrouded in gloom. She believed that the way I changed the subject and my attitude was practically a death sentence for her. If this was what Lu Yan wanted, then she wouldn't let herself become a burden to him anymore. After finishing the bowl of herbal medicine, Yan Mengyao's brows unconsciously furrowed, while the corners of my eyes and lips were filled with smiles. Is it bitter? Yan Mengyao wiped the corner of her lips. It's all right. My fault for not preparing candy for you. Yan Mengyao was amused. No need. I'm not a child. Then Yan Mengyao suddenly realized that what I had just said didn't sound like something Lu Yan would say. And if he really wanted to leave her, he definitely wouldn't go through so much trouble. Before she could look up to confirm it, a shadow suddenly fell before her eyes. I leaned closer and cupped her face with both hands. Then let me share some of it for you. After saying that, I kissed her. Yan Mengyao's pupils suddenly contracted, as if all her senses vanished in an instant. A trace of warmth struck directly at her soul. The ambiguous atmosphere in the bedroom kept rising. Both of them seemed to be stirred emotionally by the kiss. Not long after, they both fell onto the soft bed together. I barely regained a trace of rationality. You just finished your medicine. Lie down and rest first. The desire in Yan Mengyao's eyes was still thick and intense, as she stared at me obsessively. Muyan, I already gave you a chance to leave. You were the one who walked back in. If she had never possessed him, she would rather hurt herself than see me frown even once. But now that she truly had him, she could never let go again. Whether Lu Yan loved her or not, he should never even think about leaving her side again. Seeing Yan Mengyao lean closer toward me, I gently pressed down on her shoulders and pulled the blanket over her properly. Then I sat on the chair beside the bed and looked at Yan Mengyao gently. Be good and get some proper rest. Your body will recover faster that way. Yan Mengyao looked at me dreamily. Her red lips parted slightly after pressing together. And at this moment, I already was so exhausted that I didn't even have the strength to open my eyes. So I didn't hear clearly what she said, and missed the nearly pathological obsession and possessiveness in her eyes. The next morning, as soon as I opened my eyes, I saw Yan Mengyao staring at me without blinking. There was a faint dark shadow beneath her eyes. My brows twitched, and I quickly reached out to take her pulse. Only after confirming the poison was completely cured did I finally breathe a sigh of relief. Then another guess surfaced in my mind. Could it be that she watched over me all night without sleeping? Thinking that, I asked it directly. Yan Mengyao stayed silent for a long time. I was afraid this was all just a dream, afraid that once I woke up, everything would disappear. I sighed softly in my heart. Don't be afraid. I will never leave you. Yan Mengyao's heart trembled as she raised her arms and buried herself in my embrace. You said that yourself. I nodded. I said it. After speaking, I patted her arm. I need to get up. But not only did Yan Mengyao refuse to let go, she hugged me even tighter. Where are you going? I raised a hand and pinched the bridge of my nose. Was it just my imagination? Why did it feel like Yan Mengyao had become even clingier after one night? Of course, I'm going to the company. You know better than anyone how busy things are at my position. Yan Mengyao's lips moved slightly, but she said nothing. Yet I keenly noticed what she cared about, and suddenly felt like teasing her. I almost forgot Su Linian is still at the company. Hearing that, Yan Mengyao tightened her arms around me again. You're not allowed to go. She instantly panicked. Seeing this, I smiled. If you won't let me go to the company, how am I supposed to fire her? Yan Mengyao froze in shock. What did you say? I repeated each word clearly. You heard me right. I said I'm going to kick her out of the company. What? Do you have a problem with that? Yan Mengyao only felt like she was still dreaming. After breakfast, Yan Mengyao insisted on following me to work. I forcefully tucked her back into bed. After leaving Yan Mengyao's residence, I walked straight toward a Maybach parked by the roadside. When Assistant Shen Bingbing saw me approaching, she immediately got out of the driver's seat and skillfully opened the rear door. President Lu. I nodded in response and bent down to get into the car. On the way to the company, Shen Bingbing kept glancing at me through the rearview mirror, as if she wanted to say something, even though I was resting with my eyes closed. I couldn't ignore her burning gaze. If you have something to ask, just ask. Shen Bingbing cleared her throat lightly. President Lu's private affairs are not something a subordinate has the right to inquire about, but if President Lu wants to talk about them himself, then as your special assistant, I'll naturally listen attentively. I nearly choked, wondering if I was usually too easygoing. What kind of special assistant teases their boss like this? But despite the thought, I didn't think there was any need to hide this from her. I broke up with Su Linyan. My girlfriend now is Yun Mengyao. Just keep that in mind when you see her in the future. Although she had already suspected it, hearing it directly still surprised Shen Bingbing. Then a smile curved her lips, and her eyes filled with relief. Congratulations, President Lu. There's something I've wanted to say for a long time. They had reached rush hour traffic, and Shen Bingbing stepped on the brake, her thoughts becoming clearer. Now that she knew her boss had moved on, she no longer had any reservations. I've always felt that Director Su wasn't worthy of you. I never understood why you chose her, and why you ignored Yun Mengyao, who surpasses her in every way and is deeply devoted to you. But fortunately, you've changed your mind now. It's not too late. Nothing is too late. But we had already missed an entire lifetime. If I hadn't been reborn, then just as Yun Mengyao had said, there wouldn't have been another chance for us to meet in the next life. As for why I chose Su Linyan before, it's not like I was blind and ignored a woman whom I admired in every way, only to choose someone inferior to Yun Mengyao in every aspect. The truth is, Su Linyan and I had already fallen in love in our ancient life incarnation, and we died for love together. I was born carrying the memories of that first life, so after coming to the modern world, there was no way I wouldn't look for her. Nor could I give any other woman a chance. After all, loyalty is deeply rooted in my view of love, but after finding Su Linyan in my previous life, I never looked down on her difficult circumstances. I even comforted her, saying that she only suffered because she lacked the memories of our past. I brought her into my company and promoted her all the way to become the company's second-in-command. I even helped her, an illegitimate daughter of a wealthy family, return to her family and reclaim her status, and worked tirelessly to manage her family's business for her. Yet in the end, I met such a tragic fate. Thinking back to the vow we made when we died for love, to stay devoted through 3 lifetimes, and love each other until death, it now feels like a joke. I looked at the scenery rapidly retreating outside the window, and felt a trace of anticipation for what would come next. Su Linyan, you owe me for the previous 2 lifetimes. And this time, I'm going to collect that debt properly. After arriving at the company, I ignored the greetings from employees along the way and headed straight for the president's private elevator. While pressing the button for the top floor, I instructed Shen Bingbing, notify all senior executives. We'll hold a meeting in the main conference room in half an hour. Also, check whether Su Linyan has arrived. If she hasn't, call her and tell her to come. After a brief pause, I added, even if she is in the hospital, getting in 4, bring her here. Shen Bingbing nodded. The first step of my revenge. Of course, the first step was to drive Su Linyan out of the company. If she wanted to use me as a stepping stone and treat my assets as capital for returning to her family, then it depended on whether I would give her that chance. Just as I was thinking this, there was a knock on the office door. I picked up the folder and got up to open it, only to see Su Linyan standing outside with an anxious expression. Lu Yan, I finally found you. What happened to you last night? I heard from Aunt Li that you didn't come home all night. Were you really with Yun Mengyao the whole time? By the end of her question, jealousy was obvious in her tone. I didn't answer her question. Instead, I glanced at the hand wrapped in thick white bandages. How's your hand? Thinking of her injury, Su Linyan's eyes suddenly darkened, but hearing my concern, she immediately started playing the sympathy card, trying to make me feel sorry for her. The doctor said I should be hospitalized, but I was worried about you, so I only had it simply bandaged. Don't you know medicine too? Take a look and tell me if it's been treated properly. I walked past her and headed toward the elevator. Su Linyan hurried after me. Now that I knew her true nature, even being in the same enclosed space as her made me feel uncomfortable. Fortunately, the conference room floor wasn't far from the top floor. Just as Su Linian was testing the waters and about to speak again, the elevator dinged and stopped. After stepping out, I took a deep breath of fresh air.